Right. Boom. There is no sound. Wait, don't do that actually first. Quick save. Right, now quit to desktop. Hope it don't freeze. There we go. That's my Steam. If anybody at all wants to donate for Christmas, I've got a few things on my wish list. I won't ask people to donate to my PayPal or anything. I don't expect anyone to donate either. My content is free to enjoy. But the option is there if people would, of course, like to. Sorry about this. This is old games. They have this issue. It happens. There we go. Continue. Let us, without further ado, get back into this, guy. Looks like my internet on my phone's been a bit of a hole again, but I'm sure it's fine. Right, let's start reading. Let's start with, what do we have version 1s of? Because I would like to read books in order if possible. We've got a lot of books, as you can tell. Right. So I have Fair Falcon, Dwarves. I have, of course, all these contracts. I have version 6, version 11, version 7. Oh, I've got a Dance in the Fire version 1, so I will take one of them. There, version 3 and version 7. We'll take A Dream of Sovngarde, A Gentleman's Guide of Whiterun, A Hypothetical Treachery, that, Adrian the Daedra, that, An Explorer's Guide to Skyrim, and Descendants. That's book 3. Aval's Journey, that's version 2 and version 3. Version 1, version 2, version 3 and version 4. I don't think we can read them. But we can try. Take them. Darkest Darkness, that's a draft. Oh, well, yeah, so we took it anyway. We'll take those 3, we'll take that. We'll take that. And that. Don't know why an emerald is in there. Great Harbingers. I think that should be okay for now, book-wise. There we go. Let's start with A Dancing Fire version 1. A Dance in the Fire Chapter 1 by Wogan Jarth. Scene: the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Date: 7th of Frostfall, 3E397. I seemed as if the palace had always housed the Atreus Building Commission, the company of clerks and estate agents who authored and notarized nearly every construction of any note in the Empire. It had stood for 250 years, since the reign of the Emperor Magnus. A plain fronted an austere hall on a minor but respectable plaza. In the Imperial City, energetic and ambitious middle-class lads and ladies worked there, as well as the complacent middle-aged ones like Demus Scotti. No one could imagine a world without the Commission, least of all Scotti. To be accurate, he would not imagine a world without himself in the Commission. Lord Atreus is perfectly aware of your contributions, said the managing clerk, closing the shutter that demarcated Scotty's office behind him. But you know that things have never been difficult. Things have been difficult. Yes, said Scotty stiffly. Lord Vanek's men have been giving us a lot of competition lately, and we must be more efficient if we are to survive. Unfortunately, that means releasing some of our historical best but presently underachieving senior clerks. I understand, can't be helped. I'm glad you understand, smiled the managing clerk, smiling thinly and withdrawing. Please have your room cleared immediately. Scotty began the task of organising all of his work to pass on to his successor. It would probably be young Imbralis who would take most of it on, which was as it should be, he considered philosophically. The lads knew how to find business. Scotty wondered idly what the fellow would do with his contracts for the new statue of Saint Elysia, for which the temple of the one who had applied. Probably invent a clerical error, blame it on his old predecessor, Demus Scotti, and require an additional cost to rectify. I have correspondence for Demus Scotti of the Atreus Building Commission. Scotti looked up. A fat-faced courier had entered his office and was thrusting forth a sealed scroll. He handed the boy a gold piece and opened it up. By the poor penmanship, atrocious spelling and grammar, and overall unprofessional tone, it was manifestly evident who the writer was. Lodus Juris, a fellow clerk some years before, who had left the commission after being accused of unethical business practices. Dear Scotti, I imagine you always wondered what happened to me, and the last place you would expect to find me is in the woods. But that's exactly where I am, haha. If you're smart and want to make an extra gold for Lord Atreus's land yourself, haha, you'll come down to the Fallen Wood too. If you haven't or have been following the politics here lately, you may or may not know that there's been a war between the Boma and their neighbour elsewhere over the past 2 years. Things have only just calmed down, and there's a lot that needs to be rebuilt. Now I've got more business than I can handle, but I need someone with an extra with some clout, someone representing a respected agency to get the quill in the ink. That someone is you, my friend. Come meet me in the Metherdascus Tavern in Fallimnest, Valenwood. I'll be here 2 weeks and you won't be sorry. Juras, P.S. bring wagon load of timber if you can. What do you have there? Scotty asked the voice. Scotty started. It was imbraless. He damnedly handsome. Bloody hell, this book is hard to read. Peeking through the shutters, smiling in that way that melted the hearts of the stingiest of patrons and the roughest of stonemasons. Scotty shoved the letter in his jacket pocket. Personal correspondence, he sniffled. I'll be clearing up here in just a moment. I don't want to hurry you, said Imbralis, grabbing a few sheets of blank contracts from Scotty's desk. I've just gone through a stack and the junior scribe's hands are all cramping up, so I thought you wouldn't miss a few. The lad vanished. Scotty retrieved the letter and read it again. He thought about his life, something he rarely did. It seemed a sea of grey with black insurmountable wall looming. There was only one narrow passage you could see in the wall. Quickly, before he had moment to reconsider, he grabbed dozens of black contracts with shimmering gold leaf, Actress building commissioned by appointment of His Imperial Majesty, and hid them in his satchel with his personal effects. The next day he began his adventure with a giddy lack of hesitation. I've arranged for a seat in the caravan bound for Valenwood. The single escorted conveyance to the southeast, leaving the Imperial City that week. He had scarcely a few hours to pack, but he remembered to purchase a wagon load of timber. It will be extra gold to pay for a horse to pull that, frowned the convoy head. So I anticipated, smiled Squatty with his best Imbralius grin. 10 wagons in all set. 10 wagons in all set off. 10 wagons in all set off that afternoon through the familiar Cyrodiilic countryside, past fields of wildflowers, gently rolling woodlands, friendly hamlets. The clop of the horses hoofed against the sound stone reminded Scotty that the Atreus Building Commission constructed it. 5 of the 18 necessary contracts for its completion were drafted by his own hand. Very smart of you to bring that wood along, said a grey-whiskered Breton man next to him in the wagon. You must be in commerce. Of a sort, said Scotty in a way he hoped was mysterious before introducing himself. Demius Scotty. Griff Mountain, said the man. I'm a poet, actually a translator of old Bosmer literature. I was researching some newly discovered tracks of the Meridian play. Bar 2. What? Of the Menoriad play bar. I don't know if I'm reading that right. 2 years ago, and the war broke out, and I had to leave. You are no doubt familiar with the... No, I'm definitely not familiar with the Minoriad. If you're aware of the Green Pact, I'm not aware of the Green Pact either. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of these words. They don't sound very word-like to me. It's very random, unexpected words. Scotty thought the man might be speaking perfect gibberish, but he nodded yes. Oh God, Scotty, I feel that so much you don't even know. Naturally, I don't pretend that the Noriad of renowned as the Met of the Met, we're just gonna call it the Met of the Met, or as ancient as the Danzig. God, why does this word have? Why does this book have weird words? if it, right. Well, we've got to find out what a Danzig goal is. We've got to find out what of it may at whatever the fuck that is. We've got to go and find out about a Minoriad. Another word I don't understand. But I think it has a remarkable significance to understanding the nature of a monolithic Bosmer mind. The origin of the wolf pudding. There's so many weird words that it's messing up normal words for me. How dare you, book? This is rude. Right. The origin of the wood elf aversion to cutting their own wood or eating any plant material at all. What do you mean cutting their own wood? By aversion you mean they don't like to. They inherently try to avoid it. Okay. Yeah. How many pages is it? Right. We've not got too many pages yet. 5 page. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages. There. Yet paradoxically, their willingness to import plants full from other cultures. Oh, that was a... yeah, makes sense. I feel can be linked to the passage in the Minoriad. Bowen sold through some of his papers searching for the appropriate text. To Scotty's vast relief, the carriage soon stopped to camp for the night. They were high on a bluff over the grey stream, and before them was a great valley of Valenwood. Only the cry of the seabirds declared the presence of the ocean to the bay to the west. Here the timber was so tall and wide, twisting around itself like an impossible knot, began eons ago. Why? It's because of the lettering, I think. Makes it hard to read full words sometimes. Right. So, impossible knot began eons ago to the impenetrable. A few more modest trees, only 50 feet to the lowest branches stood on the cliff at the edge of camp. The sight was so alien to Scotty that he found himself so anxious about the proposition of entering the wilderness that he could not imagine sleeping. Oh, cat. Buddy, stop yawning. There. I hate yawns. Yawning's not fun. There was something very funny this morning, by the way. Now, there's only 2 people that could have left it, and I'm not sure which. But I came down to make my brew this morning, and there was a note on the counter saying to Reese from Santa, and underneath it was a £10 note, and I was like, this is great. I love life. Sometimes. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. So I don't know who left that, but I appreciate it. It was awesome. I'm not sure which one did it though, because it's never happened before, but it was definitely a surprise. Anyway, right. Fortunately, Mullen had supposed he had found another academic with a passion for the riddles of ancient cultures. Long into the night he recited Bosma verse in the original and his own translation, sobbing and bellowing and whispering wherever appropriate. Gradually Scotty began to feel drowsy, but a sudden crack of wood snapping made him sit up. What was that? Malin smiled. I like it too. Convocation in a malignity of the moonless speculum, a dance of the fire. There are some enormous birds up in that tree moving around, whispered Scotty, pointing in the direction of the dark shapes above. Are they hag ravens? I won't worry about that, said Malin, irritated with his audience. Now listen to how the poet characterizes Herman Mara's invocation in 18th stanza. I think of the 4th book. The dark shapes in the trees were some of them perched like birds, some were slithered like snakes, and still others stood up straight like men. As Malin recited his verse, Scotty watched the figures softly leap from branch to branch, half gliding across impossible distances for anything without wings. They gathered in groups and then reorganized until they spread to every tree around the camp. Suddenly they plummeted from the camp heights. Mary, cried Scotty, they're falling like rain. Probably seed pods, Malin shrugged, not turning around. Some of the trees have remarkable. The camp erupted into chaos, fires burst out in the wagons. The horses wailed from mortal blows. Casks of wine, fresh water and liquor gushed their contents to the ground. A nimble shadow dashed past Scotty and Malin, gathering sacks of grain and gold with impossible agility and grace. Scotty had only one glance at it, lit up by sudden nearby bursts of flames. It was a sleek creature with pointed ears, wide yellow eyes, mottled pied fur, and a tail like a whip. Werewolf, he whimpered, shrinking back. Kalhei rat, groaned Malin. Much worse, Khajiit cousins or something. come to plunder. It's Khajiits! Are you sure? As quickly as they were struck, the creatures retreated, driving off the bluff before the battle mage and knight. The caravan's escorts had fully opened their eyes. Malin and Scotty ran to the precipice and saw 100 feet below the tiny figures dash out of the water, shake themselves and disappear into the wood. Werewolves aren't acrobats like that, said Malin. They were definitely cafe rot bastard thieves. Thanks Stendar, they didn't realise the value of my notebooks. It wasn't a complete loss. And that's Dance in the Fire version 1. The story of Scotty. And the story of the Khajiit. And that is way too big of a book for our first book. I'm not gonna lie. How big is this one? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, this isn't too bad. So, A Dream of Sovngarde. No author. Oh, it's a continuation there. Got you. Right. In a few hours, I will likely be dead. Okay. Well, that's very abrupt start. My men and I, north of Skyrim, all will soon join the Emperor's Legion to attack the Imperial City. The Aldmeri are entrenched within, and our losses will be severe. It is a desperate gambit, for if we do not reclaim the city, we would lose the war. Last night, I prayed to the mighty Talos for courage and strength in the battle to come. In these last cold hours before the sun rises, I sit down to write this account of a dream I had not long after. I believe this dream was the answer to my prayers, and I would pass along the wisdom it contained to my kinsmen, for the battles they will fight in the years after my passing. In the dreams I walked through the mists towards the sound of laughter, merriment, and the songs of the North. The mist soon cleared, and before me lay a great chasm. Waters thundered over its brim, and so deep I could not see its bottom. A great bridge made all of whalebone was the only means to cross it, and so I took it. It was only a few steps into the bridge I encountered a warrior, grim and strong. I am Sun, master of trials, he said to me, with voice booming and echoing upon the walls of the high mountains all around us, which I will not do because booming and echoing sounds very loud, and it's like 5:30 AM something. With a wave, he bade me pass on. I knew in my heart that I was granted passage only because I was a visitor. Should the hour come when I return here after my mortal life, the legends say that I must beat this dread warrior in single combat. Beyond the bridge, a great stone longhouse rose before me, so tall as to nearly touch the clouds. Though it took all my strength, I pushed open the towering oaken door and beheld the torchlit feast hall. Here were assembled the greatest heroes of the Nords, all drinking mead poured from great kegs and singing battle songs. Suckling pigs turned on a long iron spit over a roaring fire. My mouth watered at the smell of roast meat, and my heart was glad to hear the songs of old. "Come forth," cried a hoary man. Hoary? Well, I don't know if that's how you say that word. That does not sound right. Who sat upon a high wooden chair. This knew to be Ysgramor, father of Skyrim and the North. I approached him and knelt before him. You find yourself in Sovngarde, hall of the honoured dead. Now what would you have of me, son of the North? He bellowed. I seek counsel, said I, for tomorrow we fight a desperate battle and my heart is full of fear. Ysgramor raised his tankard to his lips and drank a cup until the cup was empty. Then he spoke once more. Remember, this is always, son of the North. Remember this always, son of the North. A Nord is judged not by his manner in which he lived, but the manner in which he died. With that he cast aside his flagon, raised his fist in the air, and roared a great cheer. The other heroes rose to their feet and cheered in answer. The sound rang in my ears when I woke. I gathered my men and told them of my vision. The words seemed to fill their hearts with courage. The horns are blowing and the banners are raised. The time has come to muster. May Taos grant us victory this day, and if I am found worthy, may I once again look upon that great feast hall. Skardan, free winter. Very interesting, very interesting. We have been to Sovngarde, so we know what that's like. Right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Let's make this the last book of this part. But that isn't the last of this bit of the series, because we've built up a good stack of episodes in our backlog. We'll continue releasing these as a bonus side series until we've gone through all of our books. No, I want to actually continue this until I've read through the lore, because I've never actually gone through all the lore from all the books and stuff. Welcome, good sir, to this indispensable guide. Within these pages, I, your humble author and guide, will describe to you the great city of Whiterun, the jewel of the North. Whiterun offers numerous diversions for the man in search of adventure, fortune and companionship. Whether for a night or for a lifetime, the city is graced with not one but 2 worthy taverns, and there are maids and wenches aplenty. The city is located rather centrally in Skyrim, and this is well, for it is not far from anywhere. Perched high upon a rocky hill, Whiterun dominates the grassy plains that surrounds it. High stone walls protect its denizens from wolves, mammoths, bandits and other dangers lurking beyond. When you first enter the city through the city's main gates, you will find yourself in the Plains district. This is so named because it's the lowest of the city's three main neighbourhoods. But here can be found the Bannered Mare, which I count amongst the finest taverns in all of Skyrim. The scenery within is quite compelling if you have an eye for the fairer sex. A stout lass named Boulder tends the bar. Don't let that stony Nord exterior fool you, for she is possessed of that same fiery passion that all Nord women try so hard to conceal. Sardia the barmaid is an exotic red-guard beauty, and she's quite mysterious, and your humble author is determined to learn her secrets. Outside the Bannered Mare is a modest marketplace, and here I found true love, though I would never deter a fellow hunting hound from the chase, for indeed why should I offer these tombs, if not to provide guidance in this very matter? I must ask that you do me this one kindness. Her name is Carlotta Valencia, and she is a magnificent beauty who makes a modest living selling bread and produce in the daylight hours. By gods, I will make that feisty beauty mine some day. And of course there are other services to be found in the Plains District. Bellenfur's General Goods offers various sundry wares for the adventurous traveller, and Exadia's Cauldron offers what tonics and herbs one would expect from an apothecary's shop. Arcadia herself is an amiable sort. I often visit her to make conversation, and she is an imperial far from home. She is, however, a bit old for my taste. A gentleman of advanced years may in time find her a worthy companion. Should you need your blade sharpened or your armour hammered, War Maidens offers excellent smithing services very near the main gate. The smith is a pretty imperial named Adriana Aventi, but she is married to a great hulking brute named Ulberth Warbear. Adriana is quite fair, but I should not want to find myself being introduced to the keen edge of that husband's war axe. If married ladies are your preferred sort, then have at. But don't say that you weren't warned. Near the smith is a drunken huntsman. Here some of the wealthiest gentlemen gather to share both drink and rumours of the wide world. If you prefer a more distinguished class to company while you sip line of wine, fine wine, you'll be well at home here. Of the Wind District, I have little to say. Most of the building in the second tier of the city are residences, though there is also a temple of the Kainath and Jorvaska. Like Mead Hall of the Companions, there are some intriguing prospects to be found in the Mead Hall. Should you favour a strong and fearless warrior woman, you will find little gain at the temple. However, the priestess Denicia Purestring is interested almost exclusively in spiritual matters. At last, we've come to the Cloud District, exclusive domain of the Jarl's Castle. I've had some merry adventures in the stone walls of Dragonreach, let me tell you. The serving girls are most easily impressed by a well-spoken gentleman. After all, the nights in Skyrim do go quite cold, if you take my meaning. And I will not deny that I have visited the town's jail once or twice, which can be found in the lower levels of the palace. As for the Jarl and his court, take pains to avoid them. I find that they lack any sense of humour or appreciation for refined culture, beside which they are all wealthy men and so must be viewed as your most serious competition. These Nords are simple folk after all, and too easily swayed by the sight of fine clothes and a purse full of septims. Now I must conclude this work by wishing you great success in your pursuits of women and wine. Spare a moment in your revels to think of me, your humble author, and risk I've taken to bring you this most thorough report of all things that interest and discerning gentlemen in this grand city of Whitewood. But I will not lie and say that it was all hardship. After all, who could want to sleep alone in such a cold and hard land as this? Not I. Yes, I very much agree. And to display, we have read them. Do you know what we do, guys? We Drop, drop, drop. That is 3 books officially. Right. We will put them in a pile in this corner. Oh, you've got some stuff.
If you think it'll help.
It will, because I need... Oh, I've already got my books from you. Never mind. Never mind. Sweet. So, I thank you all for joining these today. I hope you all have an amazing day. Hope you all stay safe. And this has been me, Serene Generation, and I'm out, yo. Let's quick save. There we go. And desktop. And I'm out, yo. Pa-pa-pa. Peace. Peace out.